Welcome. Today we are talking all about the Miss Universe Philippines 2022 interview challenge. If you watch my channel every week, you will notice we are in a new location today. I am at the Walker Hotel in Greenwich Village. I'm actually shooting a little collaboration with them, and if you guys want to see some behind the scenes of that and behind the scenes of this and shooting all of this, then be sure to check out my vlog playlist as well if you enjoy that type of content. And if you enjoy this type of content, if you've never been on my channel before, I hope that you're going to consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. So let's talk all about these contestants and their interviews. I don't know about you, but when I watched this challenge, I was conflicted because I'm not sure if I had more clarity or confusion after this. I really want to applaud the contestants this year because I felt like they were very equally matched. There wasn't a great disparity between very strong interviewers and then interviews that need a lot of work. Everybody was pretty equal, I would say. They did a great job. The other thing I really want to commend about this is how fair that they make this competition. Every contestant gets 30 seconds to answer their questions, and they all get asked the same questions. The other good thing that levels the playing field about this is that the contestants are answering these questions virtually, and it's just in front of a camera or a computer screen. And this is good because in the other challenges where we incorporate video footage, some contestants can have an advantage over the other depending on what they have access to. Who is going to be their videography team, where are they going to be shooting, the lighting, etc. But in this challenge, everybody is kind of back at square one when it comes to the presentation of their interview challenge. I'm going to do something a little bit out of the norm for the channel. I'm actually going to talk about 20 different contestant videos, and I am putting them into groups actually, and the groups aren't numbered perfectly and they're not going to be in any particular order, but let me explain why I am putting them in groups and why I appreciated these certain interviews. The first group of contestants are the ones that for me were easy picks. I thought that they did a great job in their videos. There wasn't necessarily something in each video that stood out amongst the group other than their communication skills, but I think that they really deserve to be recognized. Here they are in no particular order. I'll quickly mention that every contestant got a question where she got to share a little bit about herself. The other questions involved the pandemic, how their life is now today, what qualities they look for in a president, and then also what's something special about their hometown. Davao del Sur spoke very candidly about financial struggles due to the pandemic, and I thought that that was a really nice and humble way to share about herself to let you feel like you're getting to know her more. And then she talked about a natural feature in her hometown, and she talked about how difficult it is to get there and related that to the journey of the pageant, and that it may be difficult in the moment, but the destination is worth it. So that was cute. That was clever. Alibi is a stunt woman. That's what I learned from her about this, and I have to say that her acting skills really came through for her because she was very comfortable on camera. Davao del Norte has a very likable quality about her. She's beautiful on camera, but she's also just a natural. She doesn't seem to be trying too hard. Bulacan Province went over the time limit for one of her questions, but she was cut off in a spot that was actually okay if you watch it back. She shared a little bit about being a big sister and that she works really hard for her brothers. She is a veteran of pageantry, and I felt like you could see that experience shining through because she just seemed to get through the interview with no problem. She seemed very relaxed. Iloilo City was very confident on camera, also very well spoken. I really like how she talked openly about her struggles with mental health during the pandemic, and that during that time though she was able to improve her mental fortitude. Victoria City sounded like she was just talking to a friend, and personally I'm a big fan of that in interview settings. You don't want to sound like you have what I call a pageant voice and you talk to the judges kind of like this and you have the perfect answer for everything. I do hear that a lot when I first start working with contestants on their interview, and it's a habit that we have to break, and that's not a problem for Victoria City. Lapu-Lapu City, I am happy to report that I liked her interview. She talked about how she is in the film industry and how she wants more strong females presented in film. And then I liked her answer for the hometown question because she talked about Island, and the island was destroyed by a typhoon, and the reason you should go visit is because of the spirit of the people there and their resilience. Las Piñas was so positive. I think that the question about the pandemic was probably quite triggering for many of the contestants because it has been such a difficult time for so many people around the world. So she was different from the other contestants because she had a great sense of positivity, and she also, another one, didn't sound rehearsed at all, and because of that, I loved it. You just can't help but be attracted to the contestant that's just like, I am excited for everything and this is going to be a great experience and there's so much to look forward to. Iloilo Province, my note for her was just that she looked beautiful and she did such a great job of articulating all of her thoughts. San Juan was beautiful on camera, and I've talked about this before in other episodes. She photographs really well, she looks beautiful on camera, but she really surprised me. She had a lot of personality in her video, and I felt like that is something that I really appreciated about it because it just makes you feel like you're getting to know her on a personal level. Now I'm going to talk about a few contestants that really moved up for me in my favorites, contestants I've noticed, but I feel like they just won some big points. Misami Oriental really moved up for me. She was one of the contestants that I've been watching out for. She looked really beautiful on camera all the time. She knows how to work her angles. She photographs well, and that's all great and fine, but you wonder how are her public speaking abilities, or I should say her interview speaking skills, and they are top notch. She is intelligent. She shared a story about resilience, and I will say she has a very poetic way of sharing her thoughts and explaining her answers. It was very unique to her, so I'm very excited to see her interview. I can't wait to hear what she shares. Cebu Province, I feel like she has really grown in her interview skills. I have to say, I do love her on-camera look for this. The styling was perfect for me, and the thing I really appreciate about her is her joy. I just feel like she has this genuine joy about her, and it's such an attractive quality. Lucena City is somebody that I have noticed in the past, but hadn't necessarily risen to the top yet, hadn't really stuck out to me, but I got to learn that she was a singer from her video and that she was on a singing competition when she was a little girl, and that really has catapulted her singing career. But I was very much blown away by her confidence, and I can understand that if you were in the film or entertainment industry from a very young age, you're put in front of a lot of cameras and you're put on a lot of stages and you develop these great communication skills, and I saw that here. She really reminds me of Miss Universe Great Britain 2020 because that's the same scenario where she had been on multiple singing competitions and she wasn't necessarily noticed or a front runner from many pageant sources, but when I saw her confidence in her videos and when I learned about her life experiences, I thought, I think she's gonna be a good competitor, and she was. She made it to that top 20. Here's what I want you to know about the last group of contestants that I'm gonna talk about. These are the contestants that throughout this whole journey I've been watching, and they've been very consistent, and if you watch my channel, you'll see that they've been in almost every single one of my episodes. And consistency is so important in pageantry. And so I felt like these contestants did what it takes, or are doing what it takes, to keep on moving forward. Just looking at these interview videos, I feel like seeing these is a good indicator of how they're gonna do in the actual interview with the judges. And the important thing that I like to share with contestants about consistency is you don't have to be the best in everything in pageantry to win a pageant. And that's because best in pageantry is subjective. But what you need to do is keep advancing past rounds. So you need to make it past every cut. And then you're hoping that once you get into that top 5 or that top 3, that everything you've done as a whole is going to really be enough to prove to those judges that you're best suited for the job once it's narrowed down. But these ladies, I feel like they really have the ability to move into the top 30 and to move into a semifinal and potentially into a top 5 for finals. Pasay, been one of my longtime favorites over here. She talked about missing her mom during the pandemic, but she also put a positive spin on things and said that the benefit of it was that many of us got to pursue passions that maybe we had put to the side in years past. And the passion that she discovered during the pandemic was real estate. And then when they talked to her at the end about visiting her hometown, she talked about that they had hosted Miss Universe Philippines in the past. She talked about some sort of venue, and she said if I got to speak to people internationally, I would invite them to Miss Universe Philippines 2022. So it was a nice touch. It was very, very cute, and it was very in the moment. Taguig City is so stunning. I've talked about this before, and she really reminded me so much of Jasmine that competed last year. They're both stunning, and they're both very happy when they're on camera, and it's interesting because you see women like this that are so beautiful in an image, and sometimes they can come across as intimidating, but then the moment that she's on camera, she's not. She seems very approachable. So I like that about her. Makati did such a great job with her initial introduction when she was sharing just a couple things about herself, and I will say I am very impressed by her speaking abilities, and I really like how she explains her answers. So you really have to go back and watch it for yourself, honestly, because that's such a strength for her. Pangasinan is so beautiful, and she talked about in her video that she had been bullied for her looks in the past, and I was just like, who in the world is bullying such a gorgeous girl? Everybody needs to just be nicer to one another, which reminds me, please share who your favorites are in this episode and be supportive of the contestants. Let's share words of encouragement and nothing that is intended to tear somebody else down. So anyways, she was one of my favorites and somebody who consistently is really starting to stand out for me. Bohol is so comfortable. Honestly, she has the speaking skills of an event host. I could totally see her hosting pageants or red carpets. She is really just a pro. I know she's got a lot of fans out there, and I fully expect to see her in the top 30, semifinals, and possibly once again in that top 5. I think that she's coming back stronger this year than last year, so I wouldn't be surprised. Gaginto Bulacan, I just love what she says. She had some great answers. In the beginning, she shared about herself and she mentioned her experience in academics, and she tied that into leadership roles that she said that she would like to apply as Miss Universe Philippines, and I was like, ooh, that's clever, very smart. And then the question about the pandemic and how her life is now, she talked about how it's made her a lot more mindful, and I think that's such a good quality, being more mindful. I think that's something that we can't be enough of, and so I just love what she has to say all the time. Baguio City, been one of my favorites, always beautiful, on camera, in an image. I thought that she spoke a little bit fast, but I felt like that was because she was so enthusiastic about the entire interview. So I can appreciate that. I like the energy, I like the enthusiasm, and I cannot wait to see her advance. I think she's going to. Those are my favorites. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'd love to hear who your favorites were as well. If you want to see other recent episodes like this one, then I would suggest checking out these two that I'll link right here. And if you have any episode requests for the channel, then don't forget to leave those in the comments. Thanks again for joining me today, and I hope that you'll be returning for the next episode.